Welcome to IHIP News. Pumps is still out of town. My husband had to go back to practicing criminal law. And here we have our producer, Kylie. Kylie, welcome to IHIP News.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
All right. Kylie, I'm going to tell you some hilarious stuff that's happening right now. Number one, I find it hysterical that MAGA, which is Make America Great Again, it's all about Americans and real America, real Americans, deport everybody, we only want Americans, is being ruled by a South African worth $400 billion. And he has basically bought Donald Trump and walks him around on a leash. And you always think, okay, if I'm really rich, you think it will solve your problems.
Right.
Well, in Elon's case, it seems to only exacerbate his neuroses. So allegedly, Elon Musk, who's worth $400 billion, has a burner account on Twitter under the name Adrian Dittman. And he accidentally exposed himself after he used his burner account to defend himself against MAGA over the whole H-1B visa uproar. And he uses a voice modifier in these like X chats to change his voice. And Adrian Dittman, AKA the world's richest man, says about MAGA, they will, quote, have to fucking deal with it because, quote, Elon is the only one to give these fucking crackheads a voice. You ungrateful motherfuckers. Seriously.
That's so depressing.
Yeah.
That's what he does with his time. And I think, unless you've got it queued up, I've seen some other stuff from Adrian as well.
Yeah, so let me play this one right here for you. Hang on.
And ironically enough, some elements of the extreme legacy MAGA movement will have to deal with it as well. Because that's how it is. And don't hate the fucking big tech bros. Because out of all of them, Elon is the only one that's giving all of these crackheads a fucking voice. I want you to try and pull that shit on fucking Facebook and see how long you last. You ungrateful motherfuckers, seriously. You keep crying censorship this, censorship that. You're not censored. Your takes just suck. Get over it and get over yourselves. Honestly. I'm not an enemy of anyone, but if you hate me for saying this, so fucking be it. I don't care. I'm part of what's new. You get to make that choice yourself. Do better. Anyways, thank you all for coming today.
Okay, in hindsight, it sounds exactly like him.
Totally.
So it's not even doing a good job.
Right. And I just want to go over the irony again that I watched the election very closely, and it was all about America, America first agenda, deport everybody that's not an American. And this guy is from South Africa. And he wants to now allow all these H-1B visas to come over so he can pay them a lot cheaper than he would pay Americans. And he tells Americans, don't go to college. It's a waste of money. And then he also says, hey, you guys are too dumb. I have to import people. And so the way he's just totally like calling them crackheads, telling them they're stupid, telling them they're lazy, and Donald Trump does not defend them because Donald Trump, when he's sworn in, will be a lame duck president and should be treated as such by Congress.
Agreed.
Okay, then Eden Riley tweets, sorry, I'm still processing this. You're telling me Elon was using an alt account on a Twitter space with a voice changer, but then got so mad he stopped using it, exposed himself, and is now banning everyone who made fun of him.
Yeah, and he's taking away a lot of blue check marks as well because he can't handle the freedom of speech that he preaches about on Twitter.
Yeah, and I remember Bill Maher had Elon Musk on at the beginning of the election. He was like, you're for free speech and I'm for free speech. And, the left will get mad about this. And it's like, no, Elon Musk is for free speech only for him. Remember the guy who had the Elon's Jet Twitter account? He banned that because Elon wants control. Here he is, $400 billion bought and paid for an American presidency, but this is the most pathetic one that I've seen. So Elon Musk, the real Elon Musk X account, posts a tweet with a picture of that toddler named X that he walks around in Congress with, which, by the way, I think it's a bad idea to take toddlers to work. That's just my opinion. I don't think you should put a toddler in a suit and take them to Congress. I don't think that's respectful. I don't think it's a place for toddlers. But I digress. Anyway, he tweets this picture with the little toddler around his back, and he says, "My son, little X, loves clinging precariously to my back and yelling, 'monkey rides,' crying, laughing emoji." And then Adrian Dittman, aka Elon Musk, responds to Elon Musk being a good dad tweet and writes, "You're an amazing father, Elon. Your kids are very lucky to have you."
That's so sad. He's sitting in his big ass mansion that he bought, and he sits alone at his computer, and he does this because he's so insecure.
It's unbelievable. If you think about like all of the good that this man could do, and he wouldn't have to skirt the system at all. He could actually say, okay, I'm here. This country's made me the richest man in the world. So I'm going to hire, the best graduates coming out of American universities, and I'm going to pay my fair share in taxes. And I want to relieve the tax burden on the working class. And I want to make this economy something that has longevity. But he doesn't. He still wants to rig the system, even as it pertains to him being a good dad.
Right. And we don't have time to study it on this podcast, but I feel like every time we talk about a billionaire, someone that reaches this status, it's always, they could change. They can make so much change. If I had this money, I could fix the whole world. Right. What is it that fucks up their brain so much?
Greed.
That they always just turn into this.
Greed and ego.
Yeah.
Okay, so then here's some more hilarious news as we close out the year. So Senator Mike Lee, he is now advocating for the return of incandescent light bulbs under the upcoming Trump administration. And so when I'm not a podcaster, I am an interior designer. And I want you to know that when LED bulbs first came out, temperature-wise, they were only cool. But now LED lights are made with a warm light. And so you don't have to buy incandescent lights anymore. And so literally the MAGA Republicans, it's like saying, I want a typewriter. I don't want to type on this computer, or I want a rotary phone, or give me my cigarettes back. I mean, it's like, it's insane how they just cling on to these antiquated ideas.
It's like they just go through a dictionary or something and just put their finger on a random point and pick it. It was like the gas ovens. What was that?
Exactly.
It's so random and it means nothing. It'll go nowhere, and it just takes up one day of our news cycle.
It's like they see anything that is helpful that might be branded as a democratic idea, that they have to go against it. And LED bulbs are cheap. They last forever, and you can get the warm light now. You don't have to change the light bulb. And this MFer is saying, no, bring back incandescent bulbs. It's just insane. Okay, something else that's hilarious. I want to play this clip for you all that I think just really tells how spineless MAGA Republicans are. This is Representative Jeff Van Drew, and here's what he says about little Moses Mike Johnson.
I am supporting the speaker, and let me say, if I hear from President Trump, who I do speak with relatively regularly, and I have a relationship with him to the contrary, that would change my mind. Let me say this: I'm a very independent person.
Okay, so he says, I support Mike Johnson unless President Trump tells me not to support Mike Johnson, and I'm an independent person.
That's what I thought I heard.
I mean, it's just, and of course, Fox News, this is on Fox, they don't call him out. And this is the type of cognitive dissonance that is just taught to them to just go along with this. And I think what amazes me is how all of these men claim to be these badass alpha males, all of them. And they all bend the knee to this gross, disgusting man, Donald Trump, who then bends the knee to a man that has a fake burner account where he has to tell himself that he's a good dad.
Right. They also just say it out loud. They're not trying to hide it. They have no shame anymore and just literally no balls anymore.
I agree.
He's on Fox News saying, if dad says so, I will change my mind.
Okay. And then in an interesting turn of events, I think I might follow Laura Loomer on Twitter. And here's why. I mean, I think she's a nut. I think, she's the one who fed all that eating the dog, eating the cat, all that craziness to Trump. She's a total lunatic. But she is on Elon Musk like a tick on a dog. And she tweets this stuff out. He's taken away her blue check mark. But now she's tweeted this. Unless you're a billionaire, you really won't matter in the new America. I hope people wake up and realize that very soon. Our free speech isn't as valuable as the tech right. The sooner people realize that, the better. Disagree? Poof, you're silenced and categorized as spam.
She's so mad still.
She's almost there.
No, that these people go so far right, they end up accidentally going left often. I see it all the time.
Okay. And then in closing out, because I think Democrats have got to take this populist economic message. That's what we need to start drumming immediately, because the political climate is primed for it right now, because you have Elon Musk worth $400 billion, who is basically calling Americans stupid, lazy, crackheads, all of this stuff. Donald Trump will not defend his base, but there's one man who has always fought for the working class and stood against oligarchies, and that is our king, Bernie Sanders. And I want to leave you all with this.
I tried, I think 2 years ago, to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. We got zero. Not one Republican supported it. We ended up with 42 votes. Look, a $7.25 per hour minimum wage is an absolute disgrace. We have millions of people in this country who are working for starvation wages. They cannot afford housing. They cannot afford to adequately feed their kids. So yes, we have got to raise the minimum wage. I would suggest to be $17 an hour, but I hope that we can work in a bipartisan way to finally accomplish that goal.
Okay, so think about if the oligarchs had this message. Think about how impactful it would be if they said, we are going to pay 40% in taxes annually so that we can relieve the burden. And we demand that Congress raise the minimum wage, because the way that our economy is structured is not sustainable. And it is abhorrent. And it is so gross that all of these people that claim to be fiscally conservative and they claim to be pro-life, pro-kids, pro-family will allow the United States of America to be a rich third world country. And that's what we've become. We're a rich country, but many people live in third world-like conditions. And $7.25 an hour, Kylie, I think it's been the minimum wage since you were in grade school.
He's been preaching that for so long, and I just don't understand why more people don't back this message up, because it's going to benefit the entire country.
Well, it's because the Republican Party is owned by corporate America, but increasingly the Democratic Party is too.
Right.
And we have all of these lobbyists, and we have Citizens United, the Supreme Court ruling where you can just throw all of this money into elections. And it's really made a very, very, very corrupt system. And it further marginalized the poorest among us, which oftentimes are people of color. And you have this man who has tirelessly fought to try to raise wages. And these corporations act like if they pay people more than $7.25 an hour, that they're going to go broke, with completely disregarding how the people live that run their businesses, that probably work harder than all of the shareholders do. And it's really, really gross.
I agree. And I feel like if we looked elsewhere at other countries, it's not true that they'll go broke.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Okay, I would like to thank Kylie for joining me. And Pumps will be gone for 2 more days, and then we'll have her back. So Kylie will probably be here tomorrow as well. And Happy New Year, everybody, and we will see you soon. It's so entertaining to have the vein. So